Welcome back everybody to the tiny kitchen. It's another day of quarantine, but another day in here with me. So, hope everyone's being safe and being sensible and not getting themselves into any danger. Today, we are doing something a bit different. Again, it's only going to use a couple of pans, maybe a baking tray. So what we're making today is something called a mushroom pasanda. So this particular recipe has a few things that, again, I never would have used or even considered about had I not sort of experimented and started cooking different things. So it's going to be mushroom pasanda with rice, green beans, but the rice, not just normal rice, turmeric rice. An example of something that I never would have done. So, I'll show you what we've got going on here. As always, I've done the prep. So what we got here are some button mushrooms, just like this one that I've already chopped up, just because. And some green beans, a handful of coriander, some garlic, and over here we have some raisins, some pasanda spice, which will give it that really kind of well-known curry smell that you smell everywhere. Some cauliflower that I've broken up into florets. We've got the turmeric here. We've got some vegetable stock, some rice, and somewhere or other, somewhere else, I can't find it, we got some ginger puree. So you can use normal ginger, but this is just the easier version. I'll find that somewhere. So first thing we'll do, we'll stick the oven on at 200 degrees and get a baking tray, line it with baking paper. Now I don't have any baking paper for whatever reason, so I've used foil. Now there's a shiny side and a dull side to foil, and I can never remember which one is the stickier side for when you cook on it. So I've gone for shiny side up, so we'll see how well that goes. So the first thing we'll do is put those cauliflower florets on the baking tray, put some oil, some salt, some pepper, and half of that turmeric powder on it, rub it all in, and that is what we're going to stick into the oven for around 15 minutes or until it starts charring on the edges. That's what you want to look for. If you've never used turmeric before or never cooked with it, when you get it on your hands, do not touch anything. Don't touch your clothes, don't touch anything that will stain, because you will never get turmeric out of anything. It's like the worst kind of stain because it's yellow, it looks horrible. Just be careful. So do not touch anything. Look, this is the stain that you will have on all your nice things if you go anywhere. I'm gonna wash my hands pretty thoroughly before I do anything else. So that's the colour that you're looking for. Not using too much cauliflower because we've got lots of other things. We don't want to overpower any of the flavours. So that is going to go into the oven for, like I said, 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how well your oven cooks it. Halfway through though, just give it a stir, give it a push around just to make sure nothing's getting too burnt on one side. As you can see, hands are clean, no stains anywhere. I swear it is literally, it's worse than anything that you can think of for that. Anyway, enough about that. So now that that's in the oven, time to make the rice. And this is a newer way that I do rice. Normally, before I would just put in however much rice I wanted, stick as much water in, and then when it's done, just drain off everything. But this one seems to be a bit more economical, if that's a word you should use for it. Boil about 300 ml of salted water in the pan, and then put in the rice. Stir in the turmeric, lower the heat to about a medium, then simmer for about 10 minutes. Then take it off the heat, put a lid on, and then leave it to kind of cook in its own steam until everything else is ready. That way you shouldn't really have too much excess water, and also you don't have to worry about it. Once it's cooked and started steaming, then you don't have to think about it. So let's do that. Okay, this will be roughly what it looks like. So it's just simmering away. The water is really orange. That's just from the turmeric. So like I said, that would be about 10 minutes. And then take it off the heat, put a lid on, and then just leave it to steam. Here I've just got a pan with some oil. And while the rice is cooking, we're going to wait for that to heat up, then put the mushrooms in, the sliced mushrooms, brown those off. It takes about 5 or 6 minutes. Then put the garlic, the ginger puree, or normal ginger if you have it, and then also the Pasanda spice, and then mix all that up together too. Like I said, that should take about 5 or 6 minutes, and then afterwards add all the other stuff. Then once that's all added, cook that for about 1 to 2 minutes. Right, now that that's sizzling away, you can hear it. The smell of it is literally like what just any curry place smells like. Oh, it's really good. So now that that's going, we're going to put in about 100 ml of water to the pan with the mushrooms, and then the stock powder. Stir that all together so it all dissolves. Then bring it to the boil, and then we'll add the rest of the vegetables. Okay, you can hear that simmering away, pretty much ready for the next step. You saw that the rice, as I was doing that, was kind of ready, so I took it off the heat, put a lid on, leave that until everything's finished. It will, like I said before, it will all cook together. So now I will put in the raisins and the green beans, and also what you'll need is a lid for this pan. Now I don't have a lid for this one. The irony is amazing. So what I do, I get some foil, put it over the top, then I've got a nice big round plate. Stick that on as well. The plate kind of weights it down so that the pressure of the steam doesn't take the foil away, because you want all of that moisture to come together. So this is what you have. You saw me do it just then, but this is a close up. So got the pan, I've moved it onto a lower heat. Like I said, I don't have a lid, so I put some foil underneath to cover it, and then put the plate on to keep it all weighted down. In the meantime, the cauliflower in the oven has just finished, so I've just opened the door, make sure that it doesn't cook too much and burn, because that would be no good. So we'll do the vegetables in the pan for about 6 minutes until they're a little bit soft, and all that steam and all that heat has kind of cooked it all nicely. So once all that's done and the steam's cooked all the beans and everything, and it's all nicely put together, take everything off of the pan, add in some creme fraiche, and then stir all that up together, and that's almost it, almost. So as you can see, just put in the creme fraiche. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit, and then have this simmer around while it's mixing it up for about another 3 or 4 minutes, just so everything comes together. And then what we'll do when that's all done, take this rice and half of this coriander. Then gonna mix half of that coriander in with the rice, fluff it all up so it's not all stuck together, and then put it all together. Put the rice, the mushrooms, the sauce, and then the cauliflowers on top, and then on the very, very top, the rest of that coriander as well. So this is kind of what you should have by the time you're done. Fingers crossed then. Right, once everything is done, this kind of what you should have. See the rice, the sauce, cauliflower on top, sprinkled with that coriander as well. All the yellows and greens. And that's it. Again, something a little bit different that you can do in a tiny kitchen such as this. Hope you liked it. It shouldn't be too difficult. Like I said, only took a couple of pans and a baking tray, a little bit of a measuring jug for the water, but that's all you need. Let me know if you cook it, if you make it, or if there's anything different that you would have done, or if you've made it before and it was something that you did do differently, or if you've never heard of Pasanda, or even if you stained your walls and your clothes with that turmeric spice. Funnily enough, up until recently I pronounced it turmeric for whatever reason, and it was only in the last couple of weeks that I realised it's turmeric. Fun fact. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, happy cooking.